Mr. Ravi Nandi, Director, Business Automation India Private Limited, to conduct the next session. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the post-lunch session of our second day at IMA International Conclave. May I now request our session chair, Mr. Aditya Srivastav, Senior Vice President at VE Commercial Vehicles Limited, to escort Mr. Gunjan Shah and MD and CEO at Bata India Limited, and Mr. Nikhil Malhotra, Chief Innovation Officer at Tech Mahindra, to dais, please. I'm requesting CA Bhanu Tapriya to extend a floral welcome to our honored guest, Mr. Gunjan Shah, MD and CEO at Bata India Limited. I'm requesting Mr. Akhilesh Khandelwal from Systematics to extend a floral welcome to our honored guest, Mr. Nikhil Malhotra, Chief Innovation Officer at Tech Mahindra. I'm requesting Mr. Sawan Ladda to extend a floral welcome to our session chair, Mr. Aditya Srivastav, Senior Vice President at VE Commercial Vehicles Limited. We are truly delighted to have all the three dignitaries with us today. Please join us in welcoming our honored guest. Ladies and gentlemen, post-lunch sessions are generally a bit slow, but at IMA we ensure to keep you awake till the last session. Let's do a small exercise. Request everyone to open their Chrome or whatever browser you're using your mobile. You are having a mobile? Just open your browser. Just type bhagavadgita.ai. The spelling is BHAGAVADGITA.ai. It may ask you to log in using various options. You can use Google or whatever and log in directly. Able to do login? Bhagavadgita.ai. 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 Just type Bhagavad Gita Chrome. It will automatically come on the Chrome or your browser. Open on Google, type bhagavadgita.ai, it will come automatically. Click on that. It will ask for some credentials. Just say login using Google. Whatever you have, a Gmail ID or your Apple, you just select that. And if you have done that, you can start asking questions. Like we had two spiritual sessions. One was yesterday and one was today. So I think many of the questions which comes to your mind, probably you will get a direct answer here. You can ask questions like, what is life? What I should do? What is right? What is wrong? All kind of questions like we have heard about Arjuna, Duryodhan, a lot of things we have heard. Those questions you can ask, start asking on this app. You can install the app also if you want, or you can use on the browser. Meanwhile, I am also requesting Mr. Alok Jain to conduct the award ceremony for QFL and YMC. Please be ready. Please come.
Thank you, Ravi sir. So while all the members are busy finding the answers to their life problems on the Bhagavad Gita app, with the artificial intelligence app, and while we all explore the three keywords of this conclave: re-evolve, reinvent, evolve, and lead, I'd like to highlight one important aspect of the leadership. One of the important aspects of the leadership is to identify the future leaders. It is the utmost important task of a leader to identify the next generation of the leaders. And so is it important for IMA as well. We explore, we identify, and nurture these future leaders. We at IMA conduct 2 competitions every year to explore the future leaders, to explore the diamonds. We identify the winners therein, and then the ecosystem is given to them to nurture their talents. These 2 competitions are Quest for Leaders. The Quest for Leaders is the competition which is held for the college-going students. And the second one is Young Managers Competition, which is for the young managers working into the corporates. I am pleased to announce that this was the 22nd year for conducting the competition of Quest for Leaders and 26th year for conducting the Young Managers Competition. May I now request our dignitaries present on the dais to please give the awards to the winners of this competition. And in this sequence, for the Quest for Leaders, I am pleased to announce the 3rd runner-up team. All the team members ready? The 3rd runner-up team for Quest for Leaders is Institute of IBMR IPS Academy. And the team members are Ms. Simran Tak, Mr. Aditya Gurjar, and Ms. Nitya Solanki. ये यंग लीडर्स हैं हमारे, इन लोगों को बहुत सारा मोटिवेशन चाहिए. May I request the audience to please give a loud round of applause. The second runner-up team is Institute of Management Studies, DAVV, and the team members are Mr. Himanshu Bangar, Ms. Shubhi Pandey, and Ms. Ridhima Lad.
Feeling my way through the darkness.
And the winner-up team is Delhi College Business Management. A round applause, please. Ms. Dinesha Agrawal, Mr. Ram Sharma, and Ms. Asmi Patodi. I'll now like to announce the winners for the 26th Young Manager competition. And the third runner-up team is John Deere's Devas Works. May I please call upon the team to come over here, Mr. Anil Singh, Ms. Priya Singh, and Ms. Meghna Shukla. Second runner-up team is again from John Deere's Devas Works. Congratulations. The team members are Ms. Diya Thakkar, Ms. Deepshika Parmar, and Ms. Vatsala Sharma. May I request team to please come on the stage. And the winner for the 26th Young Manager competition is Prime Intercorp Private Limited. The team members Mr. Mohit Kabra and Ms. Prachi Jayasinghani. So while we say that we nurture their talent and give them an ecosystem, I would like to say that Mr. Kabra is a part of Indore Management Association, working as a volunteer and now coming up here as a leader, as a future leader. So all the very best to this. Congratulations, Mohit. And while this award session is now concluding, I'll just like to draw your attention to one of the aspects which some of you may have noted and some of you may have not noted, that we at IMA are seeing a transition taking place, a woman empowerment taking place. You must have noted that most of the members were female members in all these winners teams. So a round of applause for all these team members and especially for the women empowerment over here. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Ravinandi, please take up the session.
So congratulations to all the award winners. And I'm sure yesterday, whomsoever has attended the session of Richa Anirudhji, I'm sure she'll be very happy. That there are a lot of women who got awards today. Coming back to business, we have two eminent speakers in this session from two different fields. It's my privilege to first introduce Mr. Gunjan Shah, MD and CEO at Bata India Limited. Requesting AV team to play the introduction of Mr. Gunjan Shah.
Mr. Gunjan Shah, CEO Bata India Limited. Gunjan is an accomplished leader who has worked across geographies in varied industries, paints, telecom and foods. Prior to Bata India Limited, he worked as Chief Commercial Officer at Britannia Industries. In his professional journey, he has worked across several functions encompassing sales, marketing and supply chain, and has been involved in both turnarounds and growth journeys. He has also led Britannia's international business and designed one of its most imparting strategy for business transformation. He holds a Bachelor of Technology Computers from VJTI, Mumbai. He also holds a postgraduate diploma in management from Indian Institute of Technology, Kolkata. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Gunjan Shah.
Bata is a household name, and schooling cannot be probably completed without Bata shoes. At least during my school days, it was like this. Thereafter, Bata becomes a brand for the house, offering various products and brands. Many people think that Bata is an Indian company, which is a myth. It is not an Indian company. It was constituted in Czech Republic, and it is still a family business, and it is currently headquartered in Lucerne in Switzerland. And in fact, the global CEO is again an Indian. We should be proud that global CEO of Bata is again an Indian. And I'm requesting now Mr. Gunjan Shah, probably, I got a good word from him, Britannia to Bata, that is foot to footwear, to tell us the turnaround story of Bata. Reinvent to lead.
Okay, perfect. Hi everyone. So nice to see all of you. Food to footwear. मैं पहले बिस्कुट खाता था, अभी जूते खाता हूँ, right? But on that note, I also remember before I try and speak a little about the question that Ravi's talked about. The previous session, you had to close the door so that no one leaves for food. अभी हमको दरवाजे खोलने चाहिए ताकि सब लोग वापस आ जाए खाने के बाद and hopefully stay awake. I think the dance program really helped that, right? Made sure that all of us got our energy back, and it was a fantastic one. I think the theme of the session today, which is reinvent, evolve and lead, I think when I was shared this by Mr. Mohan, the director of IMA, I felt it was absolutely apt for Bata. And while Bata has been the leader in the entire footwear segment for many decades, right, it is not possible. There are a handful of companies that stay alive across 4, 5, 7 decades. And Bata has been in existence in India for almost 10 decades now, right? So it requires continuous reinvention and evolution if you want to stay relevant. And there have been multiple junctures in the history of this company, right, across several decades. Many of them, obviously, I am not even privy to, right? जो मुझे इतनी नज़दीकी से मालूम भी नहीं है. But you cannot not have. There are so few and handful of companies that you can think of. There was a company which was in the top 10 of the Sensex equivalent of New York called Dow Chemicals. It is nowhere now, right? The Dow Jones Index has been created on that. So it just tells you that it takes a lot to make a company stay relevant across multiple time horizons, and in this case, many decades. I will try and give you a little more and basically a little more flavor of the journey in the last few decades, right? And how it struggled, it faced challenges, and how has it successfully and transitioned itself into a modern brand which we are wanting to take forward. I think between the 90s to about 2010s to about 2014 or so, 2014-15, there were multiple changes that were happening across the world, right, and in India. And what you saw was, obviously, India was getting liberalized, a lot more consumerism was coming in, supermarkets were coming in. You need not go. I remember in 90s, I had gone to Dubai and bought a boatload of stuff while coming back, right? Now, I go maybe twice a year, but I just have my hand baggage with me when I come back, right? The reason being that now you've got things available here. So there was a huge transformation that was undergoing, and all of us, or maybe at least many of us, have been witness to this transformation, who has seen India before the 90s and after that. What it did was that it also impacted Bata, right? Consumers saw choices, consumers saw options, consumers saw different experiences, and the company was slow to catch it on to. It took time. The consumer was one, that was the big change that was happening. The kind of technologies, the kind of needs that were there of consumers, the technology that goes into the product, etc., was all changing. The way the brand had to be marketed was also extremely different now. And last but not the least, every facet of interaction with the consumer or even the entire operations, and which I'm sure the gentleman here will talk a lot more about, right, was getting digitized, right? Technology was pervading all across. And all of these changes impacted the company such that it almost stagnated for almost 10, 15 years in between, right? But then we obviously, as reinvent and evolve is part of the DNA, and it has happened in the past, right? You go back to the 60s, you go back to the 80s, etc. And it had to reinvent and evolve itself. And it changed itself in many, many directions, right? The way we are looking at now the product portfolio over the last 7, 8 years, that has dramatically undergone a change. There is a huge amount of shift that is happening towards casualization of footwear and the kind of products that go along with it. Not only products, there is also a lot of work that's happening towards services and basically enhancing the experience of consumers. To the extent that even small couple of examples is that now, while we might have across our entire network, basically, let's say for example, 7,000 styles, in a store, because of the size, you can offer maybe 1,000 of them. So consumers don't get to see the balance. Now with technology, you are able to do it so seamlessly and easily that you just go there, you see your size, it fits you, and you want a different color, you want a different style, you just have to book it, and it gets delivered within 48 hours to your house. It is so seamless that it's given us fantastic reviews, and it now contributes to a significant chunk of sales of our from our stores. Another piece that is, undergoing a significant effort that we are trying to put in is basically something that is, what is your right fit, right? It is not easy. Trust me, many of us struggle with it. There are people who have got a wide foot, there are people who have got basically a different kind of a height of their shoes, etc. And that does cause problems. And many people need special footwear if they need help in terms of any orthopedic problem. There are now machines being installed in our stores which are giving you instant 3D scan. In fact, over lunch, someone was telling me that in China, right, historically the size was, you put your foot on this thing and you see your size 8, 9, 10, right? In China, someone had one that was also giving you the width. What this 3D scan does is that you just put your shoe in that, you put your foot in that place and it scans your entire, makes a complete 3D scan and therefore tells you what's the right shoe for you. So along with products, along with making sure that you are able to meet the consumers, there's a whole bunch of effort towards that. Simultaneously, there's a whole lot of effort and work that has gone behind basically making sure that we are fine-tuned and sharply targeting the consumers that we want basically in the fold of the banner of Bata. And that's basically what we are trying to target through the entire Surprisingly Bata campaign that we have ran over the last 4, 5 years. It's had many facets to it. It's brought in basically trying to show this entire change in the products, but also in terms of basically bringing in the kind of celebrity endorsements, etc. that go along with it. The entire objective bears towards making sure that you stay and the brand stays current with basically the youth. Last but not the least, and I have given you some examples, has been digitization and technology. I think that's been a significant primary focus to the extent that this year, most probably our investments in technology will be even more than the investments we'll make in our stores, right? So that's the kind of scale and importance that it's gaining for us. It is giving us multiplier benefits, and I am sure this will only keep happening. I don't think the journey of reinvent and evolve will stop here. I'm sure this journey is going to again keep happening because the world keeps changing even faster. And if you're not agile to it, if you're not connected with the consumer, it's to your disadvantage. So with that, I'll stop this brief spiel of mine, and thank you so much.
Hello. So remain in number one position is also not very easy, but I had been in number one position since many years. And to retain that position also, probably they are going through different phases. So now I find that, you have many options in the market. Gunjan. So what do you feel like so many fashion brands have come? Like Bata is definitely there, but we can see now so many stores in every mall. So how you feel and you plan to compete with them?
No, absolutely. See, the world and most importantly, the consumer thrives on competition, right? It makes sure that everyone's on the edge. Just imagine if there was, like, I think I heard that example, right? If there was only the ambassador, I don't think we would be using so many cars itself, right? Because so many people would not have even adopted the products. So competition enhances consumers, competition enhances the entire consumer value benefit. It can trigger changes not only in terms of experiences of consumers, but also in terms of cost re-engineering, etc. And I think competition is always welcome, and that's how I approach it. And you can learn a lot from them.
So from management perspective, how you take it? Like uh, uh, Bata as a company coming in and, I mean, creating their own products probably made for India and probably now into different kind of digital innovations you are coming in. So what are else in plan? How you want to progress and how you want to take care of the competition?
Yeah. So I'll give you one example. There are many areas, and maybe some of them I would not like to necessarily talk out here, right? But obviously, continuing some of the things that I've talked about, one of the things that we are trying is that the same experience that I just talked about in the store, where you put your foot and you get a scan done, etc. There's even more. Is that as you go, let's say for example, omni-channel, consumers are seamlessly buying online as well as offline, right? And they want a similar kind of experience. The one piece that consumers miss online is the feel and the entire piece of standing in front of a mirror and checking how you look with a shoe, and that's very important, right? Especially for ladies, etc. But in general, now we are trying to develop technologies where you can actually have an app installed where you can actually scan it, put it on your foot, and the shoe that you have selected will get projected onto your foot, and you can actually see how it will look for you. It requires a lot of fine tuning, but I'm sure, I think in the next coming months, etc., we will be able to go live with consumers, etc., on this. So just an example, but we have to keep running ahead if we want to stay ahead. So that's how we are looking at it.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. I think it was quite enlightening session with you, and definitely we have seen a lot of management lessons. What we probably have learned from this, that being into number one is not important. It is important to retain that position also, and to retain, you have to keep on
Roblox, gaming, so on and so forth. I think that's the second phase in which kids are growing in. And these kids are prompting us to go towards that line. Metaverse एक ऐसी चीज बन गई है जहाँ पे people can actually go on onto your web or on your computer and you suddenly open up a 3D world into that sector. And the third thing that will change the world is quantum computing. And in order to explain this facet of quantum computing, I'll just let you know that all of you are made of atoms, electrons, protons, जो हमने कभी science में पढ़ा था. Scientists are trying to make a computer based of those atoms and electrons. In a very, very nutshell, that will speed up a large number of processes of what you want to do. So ये technology की part है. But my lab has kids from 9 years to about 14 years also who come in, and they're doing some spectacular work in terms of technology. And I'll tell you some examples. India is innovating not in the urban sector. India is innovating more in the rural sector. And you will find those examples aplenty. I have made a language, अगर आप चाहते हो तो आप search कर सकते हो. This is called Bhamal or Bharat markup language. And the seed for that language to me came from these young group of kids in Chhattisgarh. 4 बच्चे हैं, 45 किलोमीटर रोज चल के जाते हैं. I do not know what happened to them. लेकिन एक दिन उन्होंने हरा साग, लाल साग और बाजरा ग्राउंड पे गिरा दिया. It is obviously a weed, it's not a structured farming. But जो weed उगा वहाँ से उन्होंने उसका जूस बनाया और आसपास के जगह में उन्होंने जूस देना शुरू कर दिया. That region, which was so down because of malnutrition, 90% of that malnutrition got solved because of this juice. Those kids have today gotten 90 lakhs of a kind of evaluation from UNESCO to run this. वो बच्चे जब हमारे पास आए काम पे तो हमें बोलते हैं सर और क्या करें. तो हमने बोला जो करना था तो तुमने कर दिया, अब हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है तुम्हें देने को. You've done well, you've done enough innovation. एक चीज हम बताते हैं, जूस अनहाइजीनिक होता है, उसको एक पाउडर फॉर्मेट में दो तो पाउडर फॉर्मेट वुड सेल बेटर. One of those kids said, अगर मुझे अंग्रेजी आती होती, I could have taken this innovation to the rest of the world. That hit me, that 80% of India today is a non-English speaking country. And if you look at it, पता है कितनी भाषाएं हैं हिंदुस्तान में? Anybody? कितनी भाषाएं हैं हिंदुस्तान में? "17 vernacular, some answers." So there are 27 mother tongues in India, and there are 1645 dialects running in India. आपके इंदौर में भी और महाराष्ट्र में अगर जाओगे तो एक नहीं 4 भाषाएं हैं. अगर मैं इन सब भाषाओं को कंप्यूटर में देना शुरू करूं, so there's a big challenge to that computer. No Amazon, no Google, no Apple, no Alexa or any other thing that you've seen in your world will solve this issue. That issue has to be sorted out from within India. So that was my biggest impetus to actually go towards this line and also look at Sanskrit to say whether I can solve this problem from Sanskrit. Hanuman Chalisa sabne padhi hai? Almost, largely. Yug Sahastra Yojan par Bhanu bhi line padhi hai. Do you know the real meaning of that words? It's actually the distance of earth and sun. Yug, आपके पास calculator आप खोल सकते हो. Yug is 12,000 years. Sahastra is 1,000. Multiply 12,000 by 1,000. Yojan is 8 miles. If you multiply 8 with it, you get 96 million miles. And the exact distance that NASA has calculated now is 99 million miles. So a round of applause for our scientists who actually were there, and they could put, and there's so many things that is available in Indian science today that we can take up and we can bring the innovation for the new world. While we keep talking about technology, we keep talking about innovation, we keep talking about the rest of the world, there's a large body of information hidden in our own text. And that was my real purpose. And I think the whole facet which is improving it, and I'll go back to my seat and sit down, but is artificial intelligence is helping us draw that value from Sanskrit. It's trying to get value from some of these older texts and try and apply the same knowledge in the modern world in terms of what we are trying to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil. I think you have, in fact, told many things probably which generally, AI, what we all understand is probably ChatGPT, or maybe we know some things which we have seen in movies, maybe humanoids, something like this. But the artificial intelligence has to do something with virus and vaccine. I don't know how many people were aware. And thanks for even uprising on, our, like we always heard during our childhood that India is a poor country, ek pichhada desh hai ye. And I don't know, sometimes when I go to places like Hampi, we can't believe that India can be a, pichhada desh in any way. And definitely our knowledge, even during those times, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years back, was much more than probably available today. Thanks a lot. And now, few of the questions which I think we have in mind, though they are very silly questions, probably, you can add to it. Like, they have been, we have been seeing the media, and we find that people are, worried about, like one of the academics is quite worried about this kind of, applications which are coming in, whether, thesis which are people are getting, the dissertations are getting made, the presentations we can see. Yesterday, I think we had one of the speakers, he said he has prepared his presentation using one of this application, and then her daughter converted to Canva and he has brought it yesterday. So where it is going to, like whether the originality or whether the thought process will slowly, probably it will stop, people will start using all these techniques, and how, some original ideas will come then.
Forget a long distance. My own 9-year-old has actually created a book using ChatGPT, and he's published it and he's very happy. So I asked him, "Tera kya dimag laga hai yahan pe?" And his idea was, "Mera dimag tha prompt karna ChatGPT ko." I did that, and ChatGPT did the rest. So I think one of the things why you should be so, people like us, computer scientists like us, are encouraged about all of these things in AI is, up till now, AI has always given you a kind of discriminative facet. Discriminative का मतलब होता है, can I distinguish pictures between dog and cat? गलती है तो मैं गलती बता सकती हूँ. जैसे गुंजन ने अभी बोला कि मैं अगर अपने फ़ोन को जूते पे या पैर पे रखूँगा तो it can actually give me the size. It's for the first time that AI or artificial intelligence, and AI I don't mean Air India, but I mean artificial intelligence whenever I use the term, AI has shown the meaning of generation. It can generate words. And that is a hugely problematic system for any computer system to do. आप जो भाषा बोलते हो या जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, this is called natural language. मैं इसमें हिंदी, इंग्लिश, पंजाबी, गुजराती सब मिला लूँगा. I'll be still be able to convey my message to all of you. But how do you convey that same message to a computer, a machine, which only looks at numbers and have some transistors at the back? And how does the machine relay back that message? So अगर आपने science fiction movies देखी हैं, what ChatGPT did was brought that science fiction closer to us. And I think that is what got all of us worried. Creativity कहाँ जाएगी human beings की? Where will the problem of creativity go? Can students now still remain creative? Will they do all their homework via all of these AI-based mechanisms, etc.? So what we have done is there are two things that are happening. One is ChatGPT, or people who have created ChatGPT called OpenAI, have already done a system which can check whether you have copied it from ChatGPT or not. Right? So now we know that you have copied and there is plagiarized case of what you've done. The second thing is, there's a big fallacy amongst the business world, there's a big fallacy amongst students that AI is going to take away their jobs. I don't think for the next 400, 500 years that's going to happen. What AI is going to do is give you a tool to improve your productivity better. And I think that is a very, very important scenario that every business you have. And जो भी यहाँ पे business में बैठे हैं, जो अपने business को बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, students जो business बनाना चाहते हैं, because it's not a tech forum, it's more of a management forum. If your business is not artificially intelligent or compliant, you are losing the race in the future. So that's where the case has now dropped in, where if you are AI compliant, there are businesses who would be without AI, and there are businesses who are going to be with AI. Businesses with AI have a major chance of progressing further than businesses without AI. So if you've not put in, if you don't know the jargons, if you're worried about AI, my question is stop worrying, and my answer is just look at that system, and there are enough people, engineers coming out of the country who know what to do, who know how to do it, and who can help your businesses as well.
Thanks, Nikhil. One question comes out from your this question answer is like how businesses here, like we have here, we have professionals here, we have entrepreneurs, we have industrialists, we have students also who are currently in the audience. So how in businesses can take help of AI, and what can be, maybe in short you can tell us, what should be the necessary steps in order to implement AI in their organizations?
So I think before I go to, that's a great question, Ravi. Before I go to AI, I just want to tell you, everybody has a mobile phone in your hand, right? The power in your hand is equivalent to Apollo 13 spacecraft that was sent to moon. If you can just open up your palm and keep that palm in your hand, this is Apollo 13 rocket in your hand. That's the amount of power that you have. Now with this power, there's now an increment in power with AI. So there are hundreds of ways in which businesses can use. If you're a manufacturing business, you can use AI for a lot of tasks for saying, मेरा repair कहाँ ठीक है या नहीं है, मेरे पास कोई flaw निकलता है, how do I improve the assembly line or not. अगर आप retail business हो, you can look at a large amount of data that your customers give and you can give value to it saying, मेरी sales कैसे बढ़ेंगी, मैं आगे जाके क्रॉस सेल या अपसेल कैसे करूं, मैं क्या चीज नहीं बेचूं लोगों को. So there's enough value in which AI and some of these analytics techniques can help almost every business. It's there embedded in every business. US by definition today, and I would not take the name US for a purpose of telling that India is doing this, US today has about 70% odd businesses who are trying to maneuver themselves in terms of this new technological revolution in AI. India still stands at about 20%. The reason is two. One, we have a lot of businesses who are an offtake of what's happening in the Western philosophy. And we are not looking at something new because there's so much to do in India as well. And second, the advent of technology and usage of technology is very, very limited because somewhere people are scared ye kahin hamara job le jayega. I don't think that's the situation. I think we are now sitting on a precipice that if you don't use tech, you're out of business. As simple as that.
Okay, friends, I think the answer was very straight. Like probably every organization can start working towards using AI for their different operations. That can be from their plant to their operations to maybe way outstanding, everything. I think AI can be implemented. Now there are definitely AI professionals available. They can definitely help you. And thanks, Nikhil, for guiding everybody. And anything else you feel like, one is something like job risk, which you mentioned, and you said next 400 years, there are no chances of any job risk. But just obviously it comes to the mind if the, small jobs specifically, some secretarial kind of work can be automatically done. Don't you feel that will definitely impact the jobs in maybe a lower cadre?
So that's a great question. I think there's an impact up till now. I think ChatGPT has changed the world forever. Up till now, we were saying blue-collared workers would be impacted. What ChatGPT has started doing is it's actually started impacting white-collared workers now. So it's the reverse. It's actually started the reverse of the pyramid. So people like me who've been doing programming, coding, working with machines should now be more worried than people who are doing manual effort and manual work because there's a change up the horizon. There is a change? Yes, absolutely. And I can give you an anecdote from my 9-year-old. My 9-year-old is actually sitting in his room and my wife goes into the room and he suddenly says, there's a chat happening between him and his friend. Uska dost usko bol raha hai, yaar ghar aa ja. And he's saying, no, I'm not coming to your house. So my wife Shalini goes into that room and says, chale ja dost ke ghar. He says, Mama, you being silly. He's talking about coming to the house in Roblox and Metaverse and not the real house. So she comes fuming back to me and she says, in logo ki bhasha mujhe samajh mein nahi aati hai. And that's the state of affairs which is happening because of change in tech. Now, what is it going to do? Is it going to impact normal lives? Absolutely. Today, you have the jam stack in India where you can actually not carry a card or any other form of payment and you can still do payment from this mobile phone. Every other corner, nook or corner that you have, a pawn shop, a BD shop, etc., you can actually pay it to this one. Second, you are seeing a larger impact in terms of how your kids are responding to you. And for their sake, you have to be in tow with how tech is changing. Your kids are going to bring the biggest change facet in your lives. They are not going to sit at home and do the usual stuff. वो इंजीनियर नहीं बनेगा, ये मैं लिख के देता हूँ. वो MBA नहीं करेगा, ये मैं लिख के देता हूँ. He might go and say, I am actually going to go and become an autonomous driver का driver. I am going to become autonomous गाड़ी का driver so that I can sit back at home and I can drive the car from anywhere you want. I will help people. He or she may also come back and say, I am now helping or I'm doing a surgery robotically and away from wherever, and I'm actually operating on a person's lying in US and I'm doing a brain surgery from over here. These are kids who would not have usual degrees. If you want to understand their lingo, work in tow with them. You will have to declutter all your jargons of what you have seen. And that's the change that India has now started seeing. And that is a change that will proliferate with all of these changes in technology that we do. And there's going to be massive disruption to jobs. And I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to say massive disruption to jobs. You are going to become neuro-linguistic programmers. And when I say neuro-linguistic programmers, all it's going to mean is whatever is the machine telling you, you should have the ability to understand and relate it back into normal terms. That's how the job structure is going to change in the future. In another 10
Thanks, Nikhil. I think definitely is a sign which you have to understand, and probably many of us have to unlearn ourselves to understand this lingo which is coming over now, and be ready for this, all the changes which are coming in, and definitely we can definitely see these changes in our life. And now time constraints are always there, so I am now requesting our session chair, Mr. Aditya Srivastav, to summarize the session.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Now, first of all, thank you very much. And it's very difficult to, summarize. आप लोगों की thoughts को summarize करना बहुत difficult है, because if you start listening to both of you, you can keep on listening or hearing for long, जो subject है reinvent and evolve and lead, actually quite pertinent है. And here I think we have people from institutes, from colleges, from industries, and why they are here? Because everybody wants to make a better society, better future for tomorrow. If I see, Gunjan, what you said, and Nikhil, you talked about something, AI and, futuristic thing. But if I say, Gunjan, you first, you said a company which is existing, remaining in business for 70, 80 years. And I can recall, because I was with General Motors earlier, our 100-year-old company was struggling at one point of time. But when we say evolve, reinvent, that is the key point. And you said that it has to be always innovation and we have to keep on evolving. Very important message here, that wherever we are today, we have to keep on evolving and, developing and, doing upgradation. And as you said, Nikhil, innovation or like looking to the future, it is said, what has brought you here today may not take you there tomorrow. It's like that. So wonderful insight from both of you. Looking for technology, innovation and evolution. Evolution is a journey, and I'm sure the audience here today, and इसके पहले Mr. Shah का सेशन था, उसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि top 10 cities में इंदौर, and होगा नहीं होगा, but ये aspiration है city की, and also for the state, out of those 4 states, MP is going to be another state, is going to be make big, in future, and also in the Indore city. So from IMA side, I would like to thank you for a wonderful insight to industry and giving the message to our audiences today. Thank you very much once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Srivastav, for beautifully summarizing the session. Now I'm requesting Mr. Ashish Joshi from CIPLA to present memento to Mr. Nikhil Malhotra. I'm requesting Mr. Sunil Kalyankar, HR Head from Case New Holland, to present memento to Mr. Gunjan Shah. Requesting Mr. Deepak Saraf, CFO from Moira Group, to present memento to Mr. Aditya Shivastav. We are really thankful to Mr. Gunjan, Shah and Mr. Nikhil Malhotra for their mesmerizing sessions. And I think the questions were unstoppable. I have not even opened the questions to public. I'm sure this session would have gone, I know, for how many hours, because I think everybody want to know so much about this new topic. Thank you, Mr. Saraf. Now I'm inviting Mr. Ashwin Palsikar, Secretary IMA, for conducting the next session. Thank you.